Hey guys, Buddy here, and today we're taking a look at ASUS's Zenfone 2, a great device with a great price. So starting off with the sides of the device, there's nothing there. Yeah, so it's pretty good for just grabbing it on the go, but you won't find anything there. So on the bottom, you got your microphone and micro USB port, standard. And then on the top, you got the dreaded power button that's hard to reach, and the headphone jack as well as another microphone. On the bottom, we got capacitive keys that don't click but provide haptic feedback if you'd like it, as well as a shiny little sticker. I'm pretty sure it's a sticker too because I accidentally dropped it, and I'll get that down in the further video. But yeah, so I think that's a little wrinkle, so I think it's just a sticker, but I wished it wouldn't have been there because then the device would have been smaller. But yeah, keys, nice placement, never need to break them. You got your earpiece up here along with the sensors, the front facing camera, and another sensor, as well as ASUS's logo, which they could have done without. Got the long speaker on the bottom of the device, the volume rocker in the top-ish, as well as the camera with the dual two-toned flash. And it gets pretty bright. Let's go over some of the stuff that I especially like about this phone and just kind of overall. So the customization is abundant. You can set your icon packs, the scroll effects, themes, preferences. I mean, you've got the whole 9 yards here. So anything you'd like. The themes are pretty much what you see right here. That's pretty much what you change with the theme. Yes, it's a little bit with the icons and the lock screen and the home screen, but overall, it's mainly just that little quick settings panel. But that's pretty cool. I have one set specific called like Zen UI or Zen Material or something like that, and I like it, and it's a good change. The scroll effects, they have anything that you'd have on a custom launcher, from fanning yourself to cube to classic. The icon packs are very cool as well. You can get any of them from the Google Play Store. Right now I have Zen Material running, but I mean, Moonshine. I would have had Zen Material. But yeah, so there's so much customization options. So now let's get into the preferences. So you can either have a 2-layer mode, which has an app drawer, or you could have a 1-layer mode and have everything on the screen, whichever you want, as well as some transparent status bar, scrollable wallpaper, auto smart group, and a bunch of other stuff that you want to change, from the size of the icons to the text to the color of the text, everything. It's pretty abundant. So let's get on to some other cool features. Lots of notifications, lots of toggles in there as well, but we'll get to that in a second. You got your dual SIM card set up in here because it is an overseas device in China, and lots of people like to have the dual SIM cards. It does have NFC, and it's got a lot of display options as well. It's only a 1080p screen, but it looks pretty darn good. It's not anything close to 4K, but it'll get the job done. You can customize the color temperature as much as you'd like, from black and white to a crazy blue light filter, which I like to have on. Now, there is a ASUS cover option like the LG's phone, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's first look at some of the battery. The battery lasts you pretty much all day. I've had it last me all day easily, and with the customization options, you'll definitely make it through the day. Although I wish it would tell you how long it's been since you charged it, but it tells you approximately how long you have left, which is nice. But yeah, all the power management options you have are very helpful, and you can do whatever you want. You can choose performance, balanced, smart saving, and ultra saving. Ultra saving mode cuts down the animations like on stock Android, and overall I don't really think it looks that nice to have on all the time, so I like to have on like smart saving or balance. And you can choose what apps you want to push you notifications and such, which is nice, and you can have it auto switch for you. So battery lasts you all day, and the updates are pretty good as well. So you got your normal updates from ASUS, but you also got the Android updates to worry about. So ASUS updates their devices pretty frequently-ish. I mean, I've had a couple since I've been here, and they add different features to it, which are nice additions, but you won't really see your Android updates that much. You got your running services straight from the recent apps. The recent apps, snappy, always pulls up. You got some screen pinning if you want, and you can have a clear all button, which is a nice feature if you have lots of apps open. So the performance, it runs great. Everything snaps smooth, fast. I have had no problems at all. This 4 gigabytes of RAM really runs fast, and I would say it's a great. So the camera opens up pretty fast, and you've got a ton of different modes to shoot in, from auto, manual, HDR to super resolution and low light. I mean, super resolution, the difference between that and HDR is HDR provides more light, whereas super resolution tries to get all the details it can to try to make like a higher megapixel or detailed photo. Overall, they sort of work. I mean, here, I'll put some sample images up on the screen for you guys to test between those 3 features. So here are some pictures, and they're all kind of in a row. So this is the HDR version, and then this is the super resolution version. And this is at 100% full zoom, if you were wondering. And same with this. So they kind of look all pretty similar. The HDR obviously looks a little bit lighter than the other photos, but the super resolution does look a tad bit better, I will say. Just a tad bit better. And here's some pictures of this guy's bag. Well, not this guy. I'm pretty much the best golfer right now in the world, or one of. And this was taken at the Memorial Tournament, if you were wondering. So here's a miniature mode shot. Pretty interesting looking, but overall not what I would want to shoot. And then here's just an auto picture of Jordan Spieth, and just to show you how well the camera looks, if you guys were wondering. These were shot in portrait mode, so sorry if you guys had to turn your screen. Here's the depth of field, works quite well. And here's a panorama of the entire 10th hole, I think. And then here's 100% zoom of this Porsche emblem, and then here's the regular zoom. So yeah, that's a little taste of the camera action. So let's get on to some other ones. So low light versus night, they're a little bit different, and both sort of kind of work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they suck. So it's hit or miss with that. There have been updates to this camera to give us features like Panosphere that we haven't had, and other stuff like slow-mo. You can just email them if you have any questions or concerns about something. But yeah, so they work pretty well, and I'm happy with all the modes, and it's great that they keep updating it, although I wish they wouldn't reset your settings every single time, because that's kind of irritating, especially when they normally shoot in 10 megapixel photos and you want to have it shoot in 13. But yeah, so let's take a look at a sample slow-mo video, because you guys have to see it, because it kind of sort of choppy. It's 30 frames per second, I'm pretty sure, or somewhat might be. That's what they normally shoot at, 30 FPS, but we'll see what this one actually shoots at. But yeah, so here's a picture, or a video rather. It's of me shooting some basketball, and it's a little bit choppy, as you can see, especially if you don't have a steady hand, and it's sort of choppy, but it looks decent. I mean, at least you have slow-mo. It's nothing like the iPhone's slow-mo, though, so I will warn you of that. So how does this thing feel in the hand? It feels slippery, very slippery. Feels nice, like it's a metal, even though it isn't, but the volume placement, the buttons are somewhat good. I would say it's a little bit high, and overall I would say the phone is pretty dang big. But luckily, it's ASUS's software to the rescue. Yes, there is a miniature mode to this phone. You just gotta double tap the home button, and then you can even resize it and move it around the screen. So that's nice. You will definitely need to have a case on this thing, because it is dang slippery, and you definitely need one to protect it, because it is not the best quality of materials. So on the left, you got the standard plastic case. that I would highly recommend. And then you got the fancier little opened window thing on the right, and it's has a few features up its sleeve, and let's take a look. If you double tap, you'll get your time, notifications, and everything, as well as some weather. Camera that you can slide up. It does vibrate every time you do this, though. Or you can have your torch or your mystery thing that's like a magic 8-ball. If you want it, who cares? Maybe you might want it. As well as some quick settings that you can adjust. And there's your torch that you can flick on and off that does vibrate every single time. Your events, and that's about it. And no, this is not a OLED screen, so it turns on the entire screen when you do this, as you can see, and when you open it up, it turns on. Not really my favorite. Yes, guys, my phone is broken, or the screen's cracked, because it didn't make it into my pocket at a 3-foot high height one time, and it dropped on the ground, hit the corner, and broke the screen. Yeah, it was a pretty low drop, too. I'm very disappointed. It isn't a bad break, and it doesn't get worse, unlike the iPhone screens, so that's good. That's a plus, but it still took a nasty fall twice. One time it didn't break the screen, and the other time it did. Yeah. I guess I'm just not used to this 5.5-inch screen. It's huge, and it's just not built that well. So be warned of that. These cases do scratch your phone as well. So, yeah. So overall, the build quality isn't good. It does have the dual SIM, if you guys are wondering, and it does have a micro SD card slot, as you can see on the back. It's only got one speaker, although it has that huge speaker grill. So let's test out the quality right now. With different modes. So it gets the job done for what it can do, I guess. But so looking at the back, there's no removable battery, which I like, so it won't crack open when you drop it. And they've got the dual SIM and the micro SD card, as I mentioned. And I'm wondering about that wireless charging, though, because if you look at the back, it looks like it would support it. So what's the final verdict of this guy, dude? I mean, I don't know. It's pretty darn good, and I like the phone. But overall, it's lacking the build quality, but it's still a pretty great phone for $300. I would recommend it, and you guys should pick up one if you want a powerful budget phone. Although, stay tuned for more, guys. Subscribe, because I will be reviewing some more phones in the future. So be sure to hit that like button if you found this video helpful. Comment if you have any questions or want to know if anything works or doesn't work. And I will see you in the next video.